Welcome to This Week in Plymouth. I'm Donna Rodriguez, your host, and I am joined, as I am every week, by our town manager, Derek Brindisi. Hey, Derek, how are you today?
Very good. Thanks for having me again.
It's another busy episode because there's so much that's been happening. Where do you want to start?
Well, I guess we could start where we left off last week.
Town meeting.
And talk about town meeting. Yeah, so I can just give folks a little bit of a brief update, those individuals that weren't able to watch what happened at town meeting. So again, good to go back. Last Tuesday at 6 p.m. we had a special town meeting. The town meeting was really focused on 3 articles for the most part. The first article was the select board were asking town meeting members to approve the authorization of the acquisition of about 25 acres of land over at 46 Sandwich Road. So after great debate and a lot of really strong discussion, town meeting voted it down. They thought it was not in the best interest of the town to acquire this piece of property. To a certain degree, that's unfortunate because as administrators, we're going to have to go back and have to determine what would be the next option for Station 1. I've talked a lot about the need to have to upgrade Station 1, which is our fire headquarters over on Sandwich Street. And so, again, some folks were thinking that we needed to have more of a long-term vision, a long-term plan in order to replace Station 1. We thought that 46 Sandwich Road presented that opportunity, but unfortunately it didn't pass.
Okay, so the town will now continue to look for a new location or alternatives for the rehabilitation or rebuild of Station 1, as well as for the police department down the line. Yeah,
so I'll start with the police department first. So, like I've talked in the past, if you speak to Chief Flynn, he will talk about the past 15 years and the growth of the police department as a whole, going from 100 police officers to about 125 police officers, increasing the number of dispatches that we have. And so given the town's projected growth, he believes, and many of us believe, that the police headquarters, probably in the next 10 to 12 years, is going to be outgrown the current space that they're in. So 46 Sandwich Road presented a long-term strategic choice so that when that day comes around having to have a conversation on police headquarters, we already have a space that's been pre-identified. The fire headquarters is a little bit more urgent, so we presented a really nice video showing the fire headquarters and a lot of the limitations it has as far as outgrowing the space and the current structure and a lot of the problems that they're having there. They have 3 sump pumps that are constantly pumping water so that the building doesn't overflow as far as groundwater, and a lot of electrical problems that they've had over the years. So we know in the very short order, the next 2 to 3 years, we are going to have to come back to town meeting, hopefully with the new proposal as to where we're going to have to relocate fire headquarters.
Okay. Now there was another large topic that was discussed at town meeting. There was a hometown rule, or a vote to potentially request a hometown rule with the state regarding the possibility of hybrid town meetings. Would you like to talk a little to that? Yeah,
so that one did pass. So that was Article 2. Article 2 asked town meeting members to authorize the Board of Selectmen to submit a home rule petition, which is really special legislation. In this situation, what the special legislation that will be filed is to authorize the town of Plymouth to offer a hybrid or virtual town meeting. So once the governor's order will expire on July 15th, unless it's extended, will prevent future town meetings to be held virtually. Right now there is no course of action to even have a hybrid. So this home rule petition, if approved at the legislature, will give us the flexibility to continue with a virtual option, or continue just like we had done in decades past, having it in person. But then last, give us the flexibility to have a hybrid option where town meeting members will be able to make their own choice whether or not they want to go in person at the auditorium or if they want to just stay at home and participate remotely.
Now, one of the positive things that has come out of the options for hybrid meetings that we've been hearing from everybody is increased participation, particularly for folks who might have innate challenges in being able to be in a meeting physically.
Yeah, and so I think that's one thing that COVID, we took away from COVID is that, whether it's because you're worried about an infectious disease or you have other physical disabilities that prevent you from getting to the auditorium, this hybrid option, this remote participation, I think in my mind, it actually increases civic engagement. So that is for one population, but I have said, and I think even talked about it last week, is that we have a very young generation that the only business they do is online. And so, when we look at our town meeting members, many of them are already retired. And so the question that I would pose is, how are we going to encourage or engage the next generation of town meeting members? And if the only way they really understand how to do business is virtually, then this home rule petition gives them basically how they do business. It gives them back how they do business. So, my hope is really that we'll be able to increase the number of new participating town meeting members because of being able to have this virtual hybrid option.
So now the next step is it goes to the State House, and is it the Attorney General's office that has to approve it, or does it have to go through the legislature?
This one, because it's a home rule petition, has to go through the legislature.
Okay.
So the Attorney General's office would normally, they approve bylaws. So if we had a zoning bylaw change, that would go to the AG's office.
Okay.
But this is, special legislation is very specific to the town and does not impact any other municipality. So I think I mentioned in the past that there was legislation, general legislation that was filed by Rep. Muraturi back in March to approve hybrid for all municipalities statewide. We knew that really wasn't going to have many legs, so we came back with a similar version in the special town meeting that's specifically aimed just for the town of Plymouth.
So once we find out if that is approved with the legislature, at that point, the town and town meeting would decide how to execute this and what the guidelines would be around making those decisions on a case-by-case basis?
So the way the legislation has been written, it empowers the moderator to make that determination and then make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. So there are the checks and balances. The moderator, has to decide whether or not he or she thinks that we should be in person, we should be virtual, or we should offer hybrid, and then he would then take that recommendation to the Board of Selectmen, and they would vote to approve or disapprove.
Okay, so about how long do you think before we will we'll find out?
Ooh, that's a great question. So I've seen home rule petitions be approved with like 6 weeks. I've seen them, but that's on a fast track. You don't normally see it that way. I think the standard is closer to 6 months that it takes to get through both the House and the Senate side.
So if the governor does not extend the July 15th deadline, we are not sure at this point if it will be an option for fall town meeting.
Yeah, you're right. So if the governor doesn't extend, I would think that it's probably a greater likelihood that we will be in person in October. I don't believe that this home rule petition will have been approved by the October town meeting.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on for our town meeting before we move into our next topic?
No, I mean, nothing really. Again, it was a lively debate, and we had some issues with the V-voter system, and we had a lot of new town meeting members, so I just don't want folks to get turned off as to what had transpired with the V-voter system. Because that's not how it typically is. Normally that's running like a clock and things are going well, but I think we just ran into some hiccups, and maybe primarily because we had so many new town meeting members that we had more glitches than we normally would have had.
And also the time between election day and the town meeting, usually you would have more time for town meeting members to be able to register and all of their information be able to be tracked correctly and entered and tested through the databases that exist for V-Voter and for PAC TV.
Yeah, normally under normal circumstances, they would have been voted in May, and their first meeting would have been October. So we would have had, 3 or 4 months to beta test this to make sure all the kinks were worked out. But like you just said, we had less than a 4-week turnaround to get everyone registered and get them into the system. So it was tough, but
it was
again,
exciting.
Yeah,
it was exciting, and it worked. And the good news is, with so many new town meeting members, I'm hoping that they all had a good experience, and we'll have an opportunity to really, be ready to run in October.
I'm sure they'll appreciate their October experience, given everything that happened last week. So.
All right. Well, moving on, there also You know, there was a lot of exciting things happening last week, and last week there was also a press conference down at the airport related to a large amount of funding that came to Plymouth through ARPA funds and county government. We'd like to talk about that a little.
Yeah, definitely. So, so folks, I don't know if they're aware, but our airport, our municipal airport, has its own wastewater treatment plant. This wastewater treatment plant was built in 2002, so it's 20 years old, and a lot of credit goes towards Lynn Barrett, our finance director, Jonathan Beater, our DPW director, and then Tom Maher, our airport manager. The three of them, they got together and they recognized that there were substantial upgrades needed at the wastewater treatment plant. So, you know, these American Rescue Plan dollars are available. We have an appropriation directly to the town of Plymouth, and then there's a second appropriation that the Plymouth County Commissioners manage. So the three of our staff got together. They wrote an application to Plymouth County Commissioners for $2.2 million to upgrade the wastewater treatment plant. And so that was approved last week. So we thank the county commission for awarding us a $2.2 million. We had our state delegation was there as well, who was always there to lend advice and advocate on behalf of the town. So it was definitely a team effort coming together as well with this $2.2 million award.
It was one of the bigger awards that's been given across the state at this point. Is that correct?
I think it was the largest award the Plymouth County Commissioners have given with their pool of resources at this point.
Now, with this funding, how soon will work be able to start at the airport?
So we plan to go out to bid in July. So in 2021, the DPW director went to town meeting and sought funds to design the upgrades. So this is basically a shovel-ready project because of the 2021 appropriation. So now that it was shovel-ready, we already have the design. We're going to go out to bid in July, and then usually it's a 30-day bid process. You know, a few weeks after that, we think we could put a shovel into the ground. The construction itself is about a 1-year process. So hopefully, I would say the fall of 2023, this project should be complete.
That's fantastic. Now, there were, as you said, there were a number of people there, folks from the Airport Commission, our state delegation, representatives from the county as well as town. So we do have the full press conferences running on PAC TV. Folks can take a look at the website. If you just go to pactv.org/Plymouth, you can get more information about all of the things that are available in government programming as well as specials. The press conference is available this week, but we have a couple of clips to show to folks. And we'll start off with our first clip is from Selectman Bletzer, who was there and spoke to basically thank everybody. So we'll go to that clip now.
Great.
A common theme of mine when I speak, and I'm so proud, is that working together for Plymouth is a common theme. We were just down at the waterfront a couple of weeks ago with the Lieutenant Governor. Same thing, everybody working together. And today is a great example of the federal, state delegation, our county delegation, our town select boards, everybody working together for Plymouth. And I think this is fantastic. And for the residents, and I want to thank the county for this on behalf of all the residents in Plymouth. And anybody that doesn't realize the importance of this airport, you should come up here and really take a look at it. We're a transportation gateway to Plymouth. The revenue is $500,000 or more in tax revenue that comes out of this airport for the town. There's over 250 jobs at this airport, and it's just a great facility. So anyway, I just want to thank the county, federal, state, everybody for working together. This $2.25 million is going to help with the infrastructure here, and it's going to take the burden off the taxpayers. Thank you.
So again, it was a great event to be there last week at the press conference, and looking forward to seeing how this is going to help to improve things out at the airport. And we found something very exciting when we were there that we didn't know about. The airport manager, Tom, who had been with the town for 27 years, the 22nd of June was his last day.
Yeah, so Tom Maher has been our airport manager, as you just pointed out, for 27 years, and I had the opportunity to work with Tom 5 years ago when I was the assistant town manager. One of my direct reports was the airport itself, and so Tom and I worked for many years on a lot of different airport issues. Runway extension project, I remember being one of them. The new airport facility, which I think Tom, if you ask him, would probably say that this was one of his biggest accomplishments in getting this new airport facility constructed. So, we wish Tom well after 27 years, and I'm sure he's looking forward to just relaxing and enjoying the next chapter in his life.
But he did, before he left, we did have an opportunity to talk with him, and he had a few words to share with our audience today. So we'll just turn that right over to listen to what Tom has to say.
I've had the distinct privilege of having worked in the industry for 50 years and as an airport manager for the past 41 years, and in particular the manager of the Plymouth Airport for the last 27 years. And I certainly want to thank the town of Plymouth, the Plymouth Airport Commission, and all the users of the airport for the privilege of being able to work here for all these years. It's been very, very much a piece of my life as far as it takes a lot of time, but it's been very beneficial. It's so nice to be able to have helped the airport kind of get to the point where it should be able to sustain itself going into the future. We are an enterprise account within the town of Plymouth, so we're not a burden on as far as the tax base is concerned, and yet we're a gateway into the community, very much like the highway. It's a way that people come to the town of Plymouth both for business and for pleasure. And we're a piece of that aviation puzzle within the United States of America. And it's been just very, very gratifying to be able to play a part in that. It is one of those things that it's the users of the airport that make the airport great. And the airport manager, it's a low-profile job most of the time. Excellent airport commission, and the support of the town of Plymouth. I think they have an appreciation for the fact that we are a transportation gateway into the community.
And we'd like to wish Tom the best in his retirement and thank him for everything he has done for the town. That airport is really just so busy and so active. We saw small planes, we saw jets coming through. Just in being there for an hour, it's amazing how it's grown.
Oh yeah, and they do great work. You should really take the time if you have a chance to go up there. They'd be more than happy to give you tours, and there are some really cool, interesting aerodynamic businesses that are on that footprint of that airport. So they do great work up there.
Yeah, there's a lot to see. So we do encourage, as everybody at the press conference encourages everybody to go take a look if you haven't been to the airport lately.
Yeah.
But there are a few other things you wanted to touch on today, I know as well. You've been telling us a little bit about the plans and the work that you were doing with the elected officials, as well as all the departments within town, to really kind of evaluate where town government is and where you want to go. Do you want to give us some updates on some of the work you're doing?
Yeah. So this past Friday, we finally held with our board and the assistant town manager our goal setting workshop. I've been talking a lot about this when I started a few months back, that it's going to be really important to really set our left and right limits and identify what are going to be our key priorities. So we went through that process on Friday morning. We had the opportunity prior to that to work with the department heads to determine what some of those goals should be and where some of our priorities should be. So we're able to organize those. There's probably 36 different goals. We organize them into 7 different themes, focus on public safety and community engagement and municipal finances. So we organize those all. We finished that on Friday. We'll probably have one more discussion before it becomes public, but we are well on our way, in my mind, to beginning our first step into a long-term strategic plan.
Excellent. We'll be looking forward to hearing more from you on that. So you said in a few weeks we should be able to hear some of the final results from this? Yeah,
I definitely think in one of our future shows we'll be talking more in detail all the goals that the board has come up with.
All right, excellent. Now, in addition to work, there's a lot of fun things happening in Plymouth this time of year. It's exciting, I think, especially this year, to really see summer start to hit. This past weekend was Pride Weekend. There were people all over the waterfront and families downtown. It was just fantastic to see, and we're leading into the 4th of July.
Oh yeah, this past weekend, that's interesting you say that, because we were walking around all day yesterday. I couldn't believe, even at night, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, there was still a very vibrant, active downtown.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, you've seen the downtown start to come alive again because of the great weather. But yeah, so we're rolling into the 4th of July weekends coming up, and we have a lot of different activities. School's out as of today. I just found out today. Today was a half a day, and
It was.
School is out.
I had a very happy 3rd grader.
So yeah, school's out, so I guess the summer is finally here. But 4th of July is coming up. This 4th of July weekend's coming up, and we have a lot of activities that are already planned, as you can imagine.
It's a pretty full day usually here on the 4th of July, and it's nice to be able to get back to that routine. Do you want to fill people in on some of the things happening?
Yeah, so I guess we'd say that we'd start for those athletes at Stevens Field on the 4th of July at 7:30 a.m. They'll kick off the 5K. And I know a lot of these activities, we've all experienced we missed these activities over the last couple of years because of COVID. And so, the 5K is back starting at 7:30 a.m. at Stevens Field, and then starting up in North Plymouth at 9:30 a.m. They're going to start the parade. So that'll take us down to the waterfront, that parade, and I know that I've talked to people and they really missed that. I think that came back for the first time last year.
And it looks like there are going to be some pretty amazing floats. People have been working on it, really creative ideas, and our state delegation are going to be walking together. Looking forward to it.
Well, I hope so, because they're projecting to have 20 to 30,000 spectators. So
wonderful.
They better bring their A game with their floats. There's no doubt about that.
It looks like they're working on it.
Good,
I can't
good.
wait.
So then, I guess the big event is folks really come down to the waterfront to watch the fireworks. And so the fireworks will start right around 9 p.m. But prior to all that, the Philharmonic takes place, and they're going to start around 7:30 p.m. and they're going to go and right through the fireworks festivities. So I think the weather looks good, so we're projecting a good weather weekend and a lot of great activities. So a lot of activity again in downtown Plymouth.
So it's always been a wonderful place to be in the summer, year round. Of course, I can say that as a resident, I absolutely love being here and seeing what's happening. But it's definitely exciting to see and feel the energy so far this season.
Yeah, well, things are going good. It's interesting you bring that up, because I just met with the downtown business group this morning, just to talk about the summer season kicking off and what can we do from the local government seat on supporting local businesses here in the downtown area. So a lot of good ideas came out of it, and so it's our job to help them be successful this summer.
Wonderful. I think it's going to be a great summer. We're looking forward to
Absolutely.
it. And so thank you so much again for joining us. Any final comments you'd like to offer your audience?
No, I would just say again, just if you have a question, you have a concern, shoot me an email. My email address is dbrindisi@plymouth-ma.gov. So again, I'm always asking folks to just give us feedback, because that information helps us do better each and every week.
And we'd like to encourage people also to watch your show. In addition to seeing it on the channels, it's also on the main page of the town website. If you go right to the news section at the bottom, people can click on This Week in Plymouth to see your current and past episodes. It's on the PAC TV website, and it's also available on YouTube under PAC TV Video Share. So people can always catch up on what's happening and then be able to pose questions or ideas of what they'd like you to cover on the show.
Yeah, that'd be great. Always looking for feedback.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you for being here with us as usual, and thank all of you for watching. We look forward to seeing you soon on This Week in Plymouth. Have a safe and happy 4th of July.